Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
Hello, hello. Hope everyone's doing good.
Today we are back with another reaction. We're going to be checking out video titled Not a Racist, President Donald Trump. I guess this is also from maybe his previous election.
Okay, yeah, probably.
Let's get to see where this is going.
As a senior pastor, as a bishop, and as an attorney, I have certain core values that I personally have as it relates to this time that we're in. I recognize that I have to look at the life of those that are unborn, those in the womb. How are we going to protect those in the womb? And I realize even with black babies in the womb, they've been unprotected. And as a result of that, they've been a direct result of genocide, of eugenics as a result. And so if I have to determine who is going to protect babies in the womb, I have to support and I have to endorse President Donald J. Trump.
That's one of the points from Republicans being against abortion. I think it's a very traditional approach, and I think church always had the same idea. Whereas I think on the liberal side, it's always about it's my body, I can do whatever I want with it.
Churches are always very traditional when it comes to abortions and all that. They're very strict.
That's I'm not surprised that like a pastor would
Saying that.
I think something that he feels strong about, as he said in the beginning, you know, I have personal values. This is his value.
I care about religious liberty and religious freedom. And I believe that the next civil rights movement actually is going to be a fight for religious freedom. I believe that the only way that we're going to be able to stand, we have to be religious freedom fighters ourselves. But if I want to protect our First Amendment rights and religious freedom, I have to support and endorse President Donald J. Trump.
In my own little opinion, actually, like I feel those traditional value, if we still kind of stand with those traditional value, they would actually go a long way. I think they kind of lead and direct one step accordingly. In a way, that's what I feel.
Since dawn of ages, as they would say, we've progressed and survived and, you know, prospered with traditional values. You can always kind of argue but there's a better way of doing things. But I think you're trying to experiment with something that's not broken in a way. Like, you know, it worked for such a long time. Why do you want to change it? You don't know what's going to be the outcome. It's kind of interesting kind of discussion.
I care about criminal justice and prison reform. I've seen the eyes of those that are in prison that are there many times too long and they're not there for rehabilitation. So if I want to see more executive and bipartisan legislative laws, such as the First Step Act, I have to support and endorse Donald J. Trump as president of the United States. I want more opportunities for young people to be able to be world changers. So in order to have billions of dollars that can come and help those HBCUs, I have to support and endorse the re-election of Donald J. Trump. If I want to continue to see a drop in unemployment and a rate of black Americans and to see economic empowerment of the black community, I have to support and endorse President Donald J. Trump as president of the United States. If I want to see true change in our nation, hope for our nation, revival in our nation, among black and whites together, I have to support and endorse Donald J. Trump.
I've been fortunate enough to be all around the world and to do many things. I've met many politicians, I've met many leaders. I've never met nobody like this guy. I think for number one, it's because he's not a politician.
Yeah, to me, like I know Donald Trump from The Apprentice. I've watched, I think, a couple of seasons.
Yeah, I watched
like the old ones. And I kind of liked the show. It was pretty cool, but that's, yeah, you know, when everyone found out that he's going to try and become the president, you kind of think, okay, it's going to be something different. Because, you know, we didn't have someone who was like a businessman and TV show star in a way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of surprising. A lot of people, you know, will quickly go and say that, you know, what kind of qualifications do you have? Because, you know, you're a businessman and you did Apprentice. Why do you want to become the president? You don't have qualifications. But on the other hand, a lot of people will say, wow, that's going to be something different, like a set of eyes, different view on the whole thing. You know what I mean? So I at the time, because I think this is maybe like during the second time when there was a second election in 2020. But when he was going for the president for the first time, it was, I remember, like a big thing, you know. I was thinking about it, like how it's going to turn out. Is he going to win or not? But yeah, I think it's what he said, you know, he's not a politician. That could be a good and a bad thing, I guess.
And he gets attacked quite a bit, and I get it. I understand the things he's followed behind and just done. He says what he feels. We mistake that for racism. But I met him, and I said, let me test this racism.
That's the racism.
I know I'm black. No. And I say that for a reason. I understand being pulled over by police because my car is nice. I understand some of these woes. I will never compromise my blackness. I'm proud to be a black man.
Nice one. That's right.
And I will fight for black people as long as I can. When I met him, he touched me with strong, you know, I'm
Handshake,
Donald J.
right?
Trump.
I can imagine.
Then I stood by his daughter, Ivanka, and it was time to pray. And I say, let me test it again. We were holding hands. She reached out for my hand and she said, let's pray. She was pregnant, I'll never forget it. And she held my hand. I say, a racist man's child would never.
Yeah, somehow in a way, in some actions, like if you're testing, like he said he was testing, but when they say let's pray, you know, the grip, there's this grip when you kind of praying, you hold hands together.
Apparently, you can tell a lot about the way that other person gives you a handshake.
That's really interesting.
I believe in the economic ability of this man to accomplish economics for all people, but black people as well. He's proven it. And if we compare it to 47 years of nothingness, I should say destruction. And if I have to prove a history, I have 3 years of a history that says you got opportunity zones, you have education opportunities, you have prison reform. I believe in police being reformed and not eliminated. Why am I endorsing him? Because I believe that he is going to keep his word.
I don't know exactly what where this is, but it seems like obviously all people here that are speaking, you know, they're pro Trump. You expect that all of them will support him anyway.
Continue to do a great job, Mr. President. It's your day. God bless you.
Wow. Okay. In conclusion to this, I think the three of them are actually saying they're supporting him because he's a traditional kind of man, you know, and he believes in but white, blacks, you know, people of color. He doesn't discriminate. And because he is not a politician, because in my own little opinion, I feel all politicians have a certain kind of language they use. Like there's this political, I feel like it's a political language.
Yeah, you're trying to balance and, you know, choose your words in a way that will not offend people or make them think certain way.
You're not groomed politically, like, you know, like if you, for instance, you're like a king, you have a child, your child definitely be groomed from childhood to the point where he or she becomes the, you know, the king or the queen. But now, he being the businessman, not a politician, definitely his own method of ruling would definitely be different from what people expect, you know, of him. So I think that actually has a lot to do with the way he says things and his character generally. I see him as a very different politician. He's now a politician, even though he was like a businessman. I feel comparing him with other politicians when they talk is just so different the way they speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the clips we've seen, obviously, where he interrupts people, say shush, and telling someone, oh, you're stupid, or, you know, stuff like that. He just doesn't have a filter. A lot of people will take it as either being racist or rude or, you know, along those lines. But to me, he just tells you what he thinks straight up. And that's it.
Yeah, I don't think he looks at your race when he's talking. Like I see lots of those reporters when he's talking to them, like he just says it the way he comes out. You know, like you said, no filter. He just says it to whomever he deems or wants to say things to. It's understandable that these pastors would stand behind him and kind of support him because and also from their experiences as well, they've had like first-hand experience with him, and they don't see him as such. So maybe some other people who have had experiences with him, and maybe they weren't like so good, so they could see him or read him differently from what these pastors have, experienced.
Well, I just remember at the time that they were throwing accusations that he's racist, and I think that's why these gentlemen were basically giving like a statement, I know him and he's not racist. I think that's what because I think they were like, the media was trying to slander Trump in a way of he's a racist and his supporters are racist. The pastors, and I think there was a lawyer, all of them coming out and saying he's not, is kind of supposed to help make those claims that media was making, especially like left side media, that Trump is racist, make them know, because, in reality, this is, as Trump was saying, fake news in a way.
Well, guys, that's all from us today. We'll see you all in the next video from us here. Bye.
See you later.